Not all the tears for this show are from sadness. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 moments from Steven Universe that made us happy cry. For this list, we'll be looking back at some of the most heartwarming and emotionally cathartic moments from Rebecca Sugar's hit Cartoon Network franchise. Word of warning, these moments can be very plot-heavy, so expect spoilers ahead.
Oh, Steven, there's one more thing I have to mention.
What is it?
I love you.
Number 10. Rose's video message.
Steven, that voice.
When Steven has trouble sleeping thanks to the uncharacteristically clingy Lion, he ends up discovering a pocket dimension in Lion's mane and an old videotape. The tape turns out to be a video message from Rose Quartz, Steven's mother, filmed when she was still pregnant. She tells her unborn son that even though they can't both exist at the same time, she'll always be a part of him.
Steven, we can't both exist. I'm going to become half of you. And I need you to know that every moment you love being yourself. That's me, loving you and loving being you.
We can say whatever we want about Rose given what we know about her now, but we can't deny the sweet gesture of her reaching out to Steven and only wanting him to be happy and embrace life, which is what any mother should want.
Hey, Sadie, come on, we gotta open up.
Number 9. Both of you.
You're just a phase. You know that, right?
No, I actually don't know that, Pearl.
Well, of course you don't. You don't know anything about Rose.
Before Steven was even born, Pearl and Greg have lightly bickered over who Rose should fall in love with. This, unfortunately, put a huge strain on their friendship. To finally patch things up between them, Steven belts out a slow, somber piano tune, encouraging Greg and Pearl to talk it out.
Why don't you talk to each other? Why don't you talk to each other? Just give it a try.
It works gloriously as the two reconcile over their mutual love for Rose and Steven, and finally share a dance together, symbolizing their strengthening bond. Letting go of a loved one is hard, especially if they ended up falling for someone else over you, but finding common ground with your romantic rival can definitely help with the healing process, and even help you make a new friend.
You know Rose. She always did what she wanted.
Number 8. The end of the Crystal Gems mission.
No more running, no more hiding, no more Diamond Authority!
Well, we're cracked.
After finally making peace with the diamonds, Steven and the gems waste no time gathering all the bubbled, corrupted gems for a curative pool party in Rose's fountain. With the help of Steven and the diamond's powers, the gem monsters are restored to their former glory, with a few symbolic scars still remaining. Ever since the show's beginning, the crystal gems have been fighting and subduing these beastly gems in hopes of one day healing them, both physically and mentally. After thousands of years, the X-Monster's suffering is finally over, and they're granted a new lease on life. The triumphant remix of the series theme song adds an extra piece of emotional satisfaction for the Crystal Gem's most important victory to date.
If you're not, then let's not fight, 'cause we already won.
Number 7. Garnet's first fusion.
I've never had a third eye before. I've never had more than one. It was nice.
For Steven's birthday, Garnet decides to tell him the story of how Ruby and Sapphire first met. Over 5,000 years ago, Sapphire was an upper-class gem, and Ruby was just a bodyguard sworn to protect her. Sapphire had predicted her demise and willingly braced for it, but Ruby couldn't accept that.
No!
She rushed in to protect Sapphire, inadvertently causing them to fuse into Garnet for the very first time. In exchange, Sapphire protected Ruby from being shattered by outraged homeworld gems. The story of Garnet's first fusion is practically a fairy tale, two different gems risking everything to protect each other and completely change each other's fate for the better. Of course, their love story is just getting started.
I was back. I was someone and I didn't know who. But I felt like I was getting the hang of my strange new form. And then I fell.
Number 6. Greg is there for Steven.
What's happening?
I don't know. I just asked if he had any stressful experiences lately.
Steven, you don't think...
It's not you, Connie. It's everything that happened before.
Steven goes to the hospital for a checkup for the first time in his life during this Steven Universe Future episode, but the diagnosis isn't pretty. All the trauma he's endured in the series up to now has left a huge scar on his psyche, and the stress is causing him to swell up to enormous sizes thanks to his new diamond powers. Thankfully, Greg is able to calm Steven down and offer some much-needed comfort and support.
How'd you know I was here?
Connie called me about an hour ago.
Connie... Thank you.
What makes this particular scene so heartwarming is that Greg had a prior engagement, and yet he dropped everything for his only son when he needed him most. Greg may not know much about gem stuff, but there shouldn't be any doubt how much he loves his Stewball.
It's gonna be all right, Stewball. I'm here for you.
I want to go home.
Number 5. Saying goodbye.
Do not try to talk me out of this!
When are you leaving?
Tomorrow?
Oh, so soon.
In the franchise finale, Steven has finally figured out what he wants to do with his life. Leave Beach City and explore the world. At first, it feels like Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl are the only ones not broken up about Steven's leaving. But that couldn't be further from the truth. They just didn't want to hold Steven back.
Aren't you sad I'm leaving?
Oh man, I can't take this anymore.
We were trying to be strong for you.
The audience is already sobbing over Steven Universe coming to an end, but Garnet's comforting words about how they'll always be a part of Steven's life are directed towards the audience as well. It's clear that the Crewniverse team cares deeply for their viewers, and wants to leave us one last comforting hug before saying goodbye for good.
Wherever you end up, we will visit you to talk, to listen, to be there whenever you need us. We love you, Steven.
Number 4. The most mature crystal gem. The mother of all bombshells has been dropped on the crystal gem's life, and most of them have fallen apart over this, except for Amethyst.
Hey, Steven, get over here. I need a player too.
While Steven is busy worrying about the others, she's more concerned with cheering him up. She didn't want to fall apart and dump all her emotional baggage onto Steven, because let's face it, he's got enough baggage as is.
I am the Ding Dong Sunshine Future, your friend forever. And I'm not gonna fall apart on you.
Amethyst has come a long way from being the self-loathing goofy quartz, now willing to put aside her own grievances to check on the well-being of the boy who's practically her little brother. Whether she likes it or not, this amount of growth just cemented her role as the most mature crystal gem.
Have you been trying to cheer me up this whole time?
Yes, jeez. Don't you know you deserve it? You great person.
Number 3. Everyone hugs Steven.
I haven't learned a thing from my problems. They've all just made me worse.
In the penultimate future episode, I Am My Monster, Steven's stress and trauma finally catch up to him, and he transforms into an enormous, rampaging monster.
I'm a monster!
Any hope of getting the old Steven back seems hopeless, until all of his loved ones band together to offer the one thing he really needs, a loving embrace.
Let's hurry up and clobber that thing!
Stand down.
What for?
Where's Steven?
That is Steven.
Steven has bent over backwards to take care of everyone over the years, but he rarely has the luxury of having someone there for him when he's at his lowest. Until now, that is.
Steven, when I fell apart, you were there for me. I want to be there for you now.
In the end, their unconditional love breaks through and helps return Steven back to normal. And the poor half-gem is able to let go of all his pain through cathartic tears.
We're all gonna take care of you the same way you take care of us. You know what? I don't have your powers, but...
Number 2. Something entirely new.
Where did we go? What did we do? I think we made something entirely new.
After their first accidental fusion, Ruby and Sapphire find themselves stranded on Earth with nowhere to go and no one around, except each other. As they come to terms with all this, they sing an adorably awkward duet that ends with them waltzing together into Garnet, for good this time. Their first union was only the beginning, but this sequence is where we really see the spark between Ruby and Sapphire develop, them slowly taking in everything that happened, and figuring out that their feelings for each other run deeper than either one could have ever imagined. It's hard to not feel warm and fuzzy seeing their relationship fully blossom, but their story is still far from over.
We didn't mean to fuse. Well, we did this time. We'll on fuse. We'll.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few satisfying honorable mentions. Pearl comforts Amethyst.
I'm sorry, Amethyst. I hope you can forgive me. You're the one good thing that came out of this mess.
Bismuth likes Pearl.
Bismuth, you're here for Pearl? Shh! Are you trying to hide it from her?
I just don't want to take her away from what she's got.
The rescue. Us worst gems stick together.
But at least I've got you. And you've got me. So stop leaving me out of this.
Us worst gems stick together.
Stevani's first fusion. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Ruby proposes to Sapphire.
Sapphire, she lied to us! She lied about everything!
After hearing the truth about Rose, Ruby and Sapphire's relationship becomes uncertain. Was it really love, or were they together just because of her? After clearing her head, Ruby decides that she doesn't care whether it was all a lie or not. She still loves Sapphire and cements her feelings by asking for her hand in marriage.
Sapphire, will you marry me?
This is arguably the highest point in Ruby and Sapphire's relationship, overcoming their own doubts and embracing the love they've built since even before the series began, letting it all accumulate into a heartwarming, tear-inducing wedding. Add to this that these two scenes alone help give same-sex marriage and the LGBTQ+ community the love and validation they deserve, which is arguably one of the franchise's proudest accomplishments.
I now pronounce you Garnet!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.